The silence has finally been broken, and the news we have been waiting for, arguably for decades, is now officially on the record. The Central Bank of Iraq has not just hinted or alluded to it in a cryptic memo. They have formally and publicly confirmed the activation window for the 2025 revaluation of the Iraqi dinar. Let that sink in for a moment. This is not a rumor from a fringe blog or speculation from a guru. This is a direct communication from the one institution that controls the currency's fate. And they are putting the world on notice that the gears for one of the most significant financial events in modern history are now in motion. For years, the journey of the Iraqi dinar has been a roller coaster of immense hope and crushing delays, a story filled with geopolitical intrigue, economic sanctions, and the promise of a nation sitting on unimaginable wealth finally claiming its rightful place in the global economy. We have analyzed every statement, parsed every law passed by the Iraqi parliament, and watched the painstaking process of international compliance and infrastructure upgrades. We've seen the slow but steady move away from a cash-based economy, the integration with international banking systems like SWIFT, and the relentless work to meet the stringent standards set by the international community to get out from under the shadow of Chapter VE. All of that groundwork, all of that seemingly slow and often frustrating preparation was leading to this exact moment, the declaration of an activation window. An activation window is not a vague someday promise. It is a targeted time frame within which the central bank intends to execute the formal revaluation, effectively resetting the exchange rate of the dinar against the US dollar and other world currencies. This shift is not happening in a vacuum. It is the culmination of a perfect storm of global economic necessity and Iraqi national readiness. The world is screaming for an alternative to the current global reserve currency system, which is buckling under the weight of unprecedented debt, and a petro currency like the dinar, backed by one of the largest proven oil reserves on the planet, and a government finally achieving political stability, presents a mathematically sound and strategically brilliant solution. The activation window confirmation is the green light that signals Iraq is now considered stable enough, both internally and in the eyes of its key international partners, to undergo this transformation without causing catastrophic internal disruption. Think of it as the final countdown sequence for a rocket launch. All the systems have been checked. The fuel is loaded, the weather is clear, and the launch director has given the final go. The only thing left is to press the ignition button. This confirmation is that go signal. It tells the market, international investors, and every single person holding the currency that the process is now irreversible and moving towards its final public conclusion. The central bank is now in the operational phase, where they are fine-tuning the mechanisms, coordinating with the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, and preparing the domestic financial sector for the immediate and profound impact this will have. They are not just thinking about it, they are actively preparing for the flip of the switch. This is the most critical piece of information to come out of Baghdad in the last 20 years, and it fundamentally changes the game from one of speculative waiting to one of strategic positioning. The question is no longer woof, but when within this window, and more importantly, what you need to be doing right now to ensure you are not caught unprepared when the announcement hits the global news wires and the Forex screens flash a new, life-changing number for the IQD. This is the moment your patience and foresight have been building towards. So, what does this activation window actually look like on the ground? And what are the tangible steps the Central Bank of Iraq is taking right now that we can observe and verify? The term activation window might sound abstract, but its real-world manifestations are concrete, and they are unfolding daily if you know where to look. This isn't about secret meetings or whispered codes. It's about analyzing the very public, deliberate financial and legislative engineering that precedes any major currency recalibration. First and foremost, observe the aggressive push towards a cashless society within Iraq. The government is actively incentivizing electronic payments, salary transfers through banking channels, and the use of debit cards. Why is this so critical? Because a revaluation's primary benefit is to increase the nation's purchasing power and settle international debts at a more favorable rate. It is not designed to create a nation of instant millionaires holding physical cash. By corralling the massive amounts of physical dinar notes back into the formal banking system, the CBI can effectively control the money supply, mitigate hyperinflation risks post-revaluation, and have a clear, audible trail of the currency in circulation. This is a non-negotiable prerequisite, and the progress reports from Baghdad indicate a significant and successful uptake in digital transactions over the past 18 months. Secondly, and perhaps most tellingly, is the systematic deletion of the 3-0 notes from the financial system. The project to remove the large denomination bills is in its final stages. This process, often misunderstood, is not about nullifying currency, but about standardizing the monetary base to a lower denominator, which simplifies the accounting and makes the eventual new exchange rate seamlessly integrable with point-of-sale systems, ATMs, and international banking platforms. Think of it as recalibrating the entire national ledger. You cannot simply change a number on a screen. You must first ensure the physical assets, the cash, are aligned for that change. The deletion of the large notes is that alignment in action. Furthermore, we are witnessing unprecedented cooperation between Iraq and international financial bodies. The frequent visits from IMF delegations, the technical assistance provided by the World Bank, and the continuous statements from the U.S. Treasury regarding Iraq's compliance with international banking protocols are not coincidental. These are the final audits. These organizations are essentially signing off on the health and readiness of the Iraqi financial system, giving the global market the confidence to accept the new dinar value without hesitation. This external validation is the bedrock upon which the revaluation's international legitimacy will be built. Without it, the new rate would be viewed as a fictional, unsupported number. With it, the dinar transitions from an exotic, highly speculative currency to a potentially strong, petro-backed medium of exchange. Finally, look at the geopolitical landscape. Iraq is no longer a nation under strict international sanctions. It has successfully navigated its way out of the most crippling financial restrictions. It's paying down its sovereign debt, and it's signing massive oil and gas development contracts with global energy giants like Total Energies. These contracts are not priced in the current dinar. They are multi-billion-dollar investments predicated on a future stable and significantly stronger Iraqi economy. These corporations have done their due diligence. Their investments are a multi-billion-dollar vote of confidence in the future value of the Iraqi dinar and the nation's economic trajectory. All these threads, the digital transition, the deletion of the large notes, the international compliance, and the strategic investment deals, are being woven together into a single unbreakable rope. The activation window is the time frame in which these final interconnected processes are being locked into place. We are past the point of theory and have entered the phase of execution, where every week brings a new, verifiable piece of the puzzle that confirms the final picture is exactly what we have been led to believe. The countdown is not just a timer on a screen. It is a sequence of deliberate, observable, and irreversible financial actions. Now, with all of this information laid out, the most pressing question becomes, what do you do with this window of opportunity? Knowledge without action is merely trivia, and in this situation, the cost of inaction could be profound. The activation window is not just a period for the Central Bank of Iraq to act. It is the final stretch for you to position yourself strategically. The first and most critical step is to ensure your dinar holdings are secure, verifiable, and accessible. This means if you are holding physical currency, you must have it in a safe, known location, and you must be absolutely confident in its authenticity. Now is the time to double-check your certificates of authenticity, ensure your notes are from a reputable source, and are not damaged or questionable in any way. The last thing you want during the chaotic and fast-moving hours and days following the official announcement is to be dealing with doubts about the legitimacy of your own assets. Secondly, you need to have a crystal clear plan for the post-revaluation process. Do you know the procedures for exchanging your currency? Have you researched the banks or international exchange houses that will handle such a transaction? This isn't something you can leave for the last minute. The financial world will be thrown into a frenzy and misinformation will spread like wildfire. Your calm, premeditated plan will be your greatest asset. Start building a relationship with a financial advisor or a bank manager now, someone you can trust to give you clear guidance when the time comes. Do not wait for the news to break to start making phone calls in a panic. Furthermore, you must prepare yourself mentally and logistically for the immediate aftermath. The announcement will trigger a media storm of historic proportions. Every major news network, from CNN to Bloomberg to Al Jazeera, will be running constant coverage. The internet will be flooded with conflicting reports, fear-mongering, and opportunistic scams designed to prey on the unprepared. Your ability to stay focused, to stick to your pre-established plan, and to filter out the noise will be paramount. This is why being part of a reliable, sober-minded community of informed individuals is not just a comfort. It is a strategic necessity. You need a place to get vetted information, to share credible updates, and to block out the hysteria that will inevitably cloud the judgment of those who are going through this alone. This journey, which for many has lasted for years, is now reaching its climax. The destination we have spoken about, debated, and envisioned is now visible on the horizon. The confirmation of the activation window is the lighthouse cutting through the fog, guiding us to the shore. All the patience, the research, and the steadfast belief in the fundamental value and destiny of the Iraqi dinar are being validated by the most authoritative source possible. This is no longer a story about what might happen. It is a story about what is now in the process of happening. The final chapter of this historic financial event is being written by the Central Bank of Iraq as we speak, and we are not merely spectators, we are participants with a front row seat to a transformation that will be studied in economic textbooks for generations to come. The groundwork has been laid, the pieces are all in motion, and the countdown clock is ticking down with a definitive finality. The wait is almost over. But your role is not passive. Your engagement right now is what will determine the outcome for you and your family. This is your call to action. If you have found this breakdown valuable, if it has given you clarity and a concrete understanding of where we stand, then you need to be part of this community going forward. The coming weeks and months will be the most critical period in this entire journey, and you cannot afford to be on the outside looking in. Hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and most importantly, ring that notification bell. We are your dedicated source for clear, factual, and timely updates, cutting through the speculation to deliver the information you need when you need it. The next video we release could be the one you have been waiting for your entire life. Don't risk missing it. Be ready. Stay informed, and let's navigate the final countdown together.